Greetings and welcome back to the channel. Guys, I wasn't sure if I was going to make this build video or not. It's going to be a little different than the other build videos, but I feel like I just want to share this. We're talking Bashcro, okay? Do you remember Bashcro back when the Necromancer came out? Bashcro was all the rage. Very strong, very unbalanced. It got nerfed later on. And then no one really played a Bashcro anymore. But they're back, you know? They're back due to recent changes in extra damage, due to recent changes in certain sets. I feel like you can actually play a Bashcro again. It might not be as strong as it used to be back in the day, but hey, I mean, I played it during Mid-Year Mayhem. And I got a couple really good fights with the Bashcro, so let's just go over it. I don't have the build set up anymore in the game. It's been like 2 weeks since I played it. I've yet changed my setup, playing different things. So I can't show you this in game, but I can show you on the build editor. So let's just dive right into it. So the way the Bashcro works these days is you need the Veiled Heritance set. The 5-piece, when you interrupt an enemy, you gain 500 weapon damage for 15 seconds. That's not important. If you actually do interrupt an enemy, which you might do since you're bashing, so if someone's casting and you interrupt them, you get 500 weapon damage. So that's a nice little bonus, but that's not why we use the set. It's the second sentence here. Your bash attacks permanently deal 550 more damage. That's why we're using this. So this is gonna buff your bash damage at all times. You have to set on, bash damage is gonna go up, okay? That's how it works. The next one is gonna be Spriggans. You can use a different set, but you need penetration. You want to make sure your bashes actually get through the armor of your opponent, so, you know, I feel like penetration is the way to go these days. And then, of course, we're running Baylork, so you get a lot of penetration if you take the Pummeling Goliath ultimate, if you cast this one. For me, this one costs like 260 ultimate, so, you know, even if you only have 260, just enough to cast the ultimate, Baylork's going to give you a nice chunk of a little bit of extra damage and then a lot of extra penetration, so that's really nice. Keep that in mind. And, I mean, if you really want to be OP, charge it up to 500 and let it rip. That's basically how you do it. In terms of traits, you can do whatever traits you want. I like Infused and I like Impen here, so I feel like that's the best. But feel free to use the traits that you want. They don't really matter in terms of, you know, this kind of playstyle. One thing that is really important is you need infused jewelry with the Bash enchant, okay? Bash enchant and infused jewelry is a must. Do not try to play this build without. It might be expensive for you to, you know, craft jewelry or infuse in the jewelry that you have, depending if you want to use a crafted set. There's a couple good ones that you could use, but, you know, no matter which route you go, be it like transmuting your jewelry that you have or crafting new ones for a set that you want to use instead of Spriggans, it's going to be a little bit expensive, but, you know, it's important. The Bash enchants, they're not super expensive, but you need 3 of them, put them on, which means your overall damage is going to be way lower than it usually is. It's not going to be bad, though. So don't worry. Definitely use Sword and Board on the front bar. You could technically bash with a 2H or like any other weapon. The damage is going to be a lot lower. So keep that in mind. Yeah, Sword and Board is the way to go. In terms of food, we're running Artanium Takeaway Broth. I think that's the best. Just gives you the most resources, which is really nice. Lover Mundus for extra penetration, I feel like is quite important here, and yeah, that's basically all you have to do. You don't have to be a vampire. I am a vampire because I don't want to cure it. That's why I'm like always like stage 1. But yeah, I would recommend maybe using a 2H on the back bar. You could technically run a bow, but the 2H has a couple nice things. Well, one nice thing. and that's rally, because you need like a weapon damage buff, right? And rally also gives you the minor endurance, which gives you extra stamina recovery, which is quite needed on this build. I have two versions of this build prepared for you. This is the higher damage, lower sustain version. I would recommend not playing this particular build solo, although you can if you're like planning on like bombing people. Um, but this is not the greatest solo experience because you are not you don't have that much sustain. Okay, you can't. It's a little hard to sustain here. So make sure if you want to play this one with the higher damage, get a couple of friends together, play this in a group. If you have a healer supporting you, this is going to be much better for you. So before I go over the champion points and the other stuff, let me just show you the other version of this build. So this is the other version of this build. This has less damage, but more sustain and also more self-healing. So overall, I thought this version worked better in terms of just, staying in a fight, but you're not going to see that much damage anymore. You're losing, I don't know, somewhere between like 10 to 15%, maybe even up to 20% in damage, the peak damage. I need to say peak damage with your bashes. So definitely lower, but this works definitely better in a solo environment because you just have more sustain to stay alive. You have more self-healing. You can stay in the fight longer. So, if you plan on playing this solo, maybe this could be the version for you. So instead of Balork, we're using one blood spawn for extra recovery. Instead of the other Balork, we have a Spriggan here because we replaced one of the rings with the Pale Order ring, which is gonna... It's going to heal you quite a bit when you're like bashing a group of people. This is going to help you stay alive because you want to make sure you're bashing as fast as possible, get the people together, and really try to hit them with nice AoE bashes. So you don't really have time to heal. Of course, make sure you cast your vigor, make sure you cast your spirit guardian and all that good stuff before you start going in. But after a couple seconds, that heal is going to stop, and then you want to be able to still maintain some health, and the Pale Order ring is definitely going to help you do that. You can hit people for up to like 10k, and with this setup, more like 8.5k. But if you hit a group of people with 8k, 9k bashes, that's a lot of healing coming back to you. So this is definitely the solo version. Keep that in mind. And that's basically all we changed. It's instead of Balork, we have one blood spawn. Replace the other one with the Spriggan so that we could put the Pale Order here. And just that's your solo version. This is the group version. Like I said, you can play this solo if you feel like it. Just don't expect too much from it because you're gonna lack sustain. You're gonna lack the self-healing. Anyway. Let me go over a couple of important things. Skills, for example. Make sure you get the blast bones. They really help you kill people. So before you start bashing, make sure you get a blast bones up. I'm using Venom Skull. You can use whatever you want. This is just a flex spot. I didn't know what to put there. It's not bad for like hitting people from a distance. It doesn't hit very hard though. You got to be honest. Ruinous Scythe is... it's not a great skill. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It sets people off balance, which is not that important anymore. Off balance is not as strong as it used to be. But, there's a way for you to, stun somebody. Set them off balance, hit them with a partially charged heavy attack, and there's a stun for you. You also gain a lot of health here. So, keep that in mind. If you need to heal, looking into like a big group, just hit the Scythe. This might actually heal you to full. So, yeah. Invasion as the gap closer here. This is your stun, your primary stun, basically. So, and it's also, it's a gap closer if you want to chase somebody, or if you plan on getting into a Zerg, which might be necessary. You might transform into the pummeling Goliath behind a wall or something, and then step out and gap close into a group, start bashing them, stuff like that. I feel like this little bit of mobility is really nice because Necromancer really struggles with mobility options, in my opinion. The next one is Unnerving Boneyard. So when I first started this build, I was using Caltrops. Didn't really like that too much. I felt like, especially because of the sustain, I felt like it was, even though it's not super expensive, it was too taxing on the stamina because sometimes you have to like recast it when people move out of it. And I thought, you know what, the Boneyard might be better. I think it deals a little bit more damage. It gives you physical and spell penetration, and yeah, I mean, it's a good way to like use your magicka for an effect that you need, and you don't have to strain your important stamina pool. You don't have to do that. So I feel like this is a good switch. If you feel more comfortable using Caltrops, do that. But I feel like the Boneyard, ever since I switched that out, the build just started feeling a lot better. On the back bar, nothing crazy. Resolving Vigor for your main heal, basically. Rally for, also heal, but mainly the weapon damage buff and the minor endurance, which is quite important here. Of course, you need your armor buff, whichever one you like best. Spirit Guardian really makes you a lot more tanky, gives you health. So combining the Spirit Guardian with the Resolving Vigor, that results in some nice healing, and I really like the combination. They're really strong together. Necrotic Potency, this is kind of a flex spot too, whatever you need. I feel like Necrotic Potency is not bad, especially when you're in Imperial City. All the NPCs that you can drain, it really helps you get your ultimate back. Because, as you know, as long as you're in pummeling Goliath, it doesn't matter how many people you kill. You can't gain ultimate as long as you're in the form. So for 20 seconds, you won't have any ultimate. Your ultimate's going to stay at 0. So keep that in mind. Once you come out of Goliath, you're going to have 0 ultimate, and you need a way to build that up quick. So, that's where the Necrotic Potency comes in. You can kill NPCs either like keep guards, flag guards, or an IC, like I said, the Daedra there. Or if you just kill like entire group of people, just drain their bodies, get the ultimate back. Really nice. Helps you, get going again with the Bashcro. So that's basically the skill setup. I'll show you the champion points real quick. Take all the passives. That's my advice. Take all the passives. And when it comes to Slaughterbolts, the green tree is not super important. Warmount and Gifted Rider, I think, are really nice. Sustaining Shadows, in case you want to sneak a little bit, is nice. And Steed's Blessing for extra movement speed. Outside of that, there's nothing great in the green tree. When it comes to the blue tree, we're going for Biting Aura because, our bashes are AoE based on the Pummeling Goliath. So extra AoE damage here. Their direct damage, extra direct damage here, Master at Arms. Fighting Finesse and a Backstabber for extra crit damage. So your crit chance is not going to be super high. Your crit damage is not going to be super high. But if you hit a whole group of people, you're eventually going to crit on some of them. And, the crit damage is definitely going to help you here. That's 25% extra crit damage that you can get. That's definitely going to help you boost the damage of your bashes. And when it comes to the red tree, like I said, take all the passives, and then I went for Boundless Vitality because extra health doesn't hurt. By the way, we have over 60k health. That is of course in Goliath form. Okay, this is not in human form. Human form, I think you have like 27 or something. So not super high. You can build that higher if you don't feel comfortable running around with like below 30k. So feel free to like put a little bit more health on the build if you feel like that's what you need. Then we have Rejuvenation, which is nice just for like overall sustain. Slippery, quite important for a build like that. When you go in and you're trying to like bash a whole group of people, someone's going to CC you. And so having an auto break free is really nice because you're like right back in the fight. You don't have to worry about, you know, can I break the CC? The game's just going to do it for you. So put that in, and yeah, that gives you another chance of like continuing the fight when someone hits you with like a nasty CC, like a streak or a fossilize or whatever it might be. And then expert evasion is quite nice because we're in heavy armor. Heavy armor has really expensive dodge rolls, and you might need that to stay alive. So your first dodge roll every 30 seconds is free. So every 30 seconds, when you do a dodge roll, you're not going to pay anything. And only the second dodge roll after that, you're going to start paying stamina for that. So that's really nice for a heavy armor build, in my opinion. It saves you quite a bit of resources, I would say. Because, if you have to do 3, 4, 5 dodge rolls in a row, they start getting really expensive. And if you can cut down on one of them, if you, like, the fifth one already is super expensive in heavy armor, right? So if you can get this amount down to like 4 dodge rolls that you have to pay for, that's going to save you a lot of resources. So definitely a good one here. That's basically it. That's the champion points. That's all you need to know. Just a quick recap for you. Veiled Heritance, need it. You can't do it without. You need the Veiled Heritance. You need infused bash damage and chance. That is needed. The other things are not super important. I mean, you wanna have sword and board. These are basically the 3 important things: sword and board, infused bash damage and chance, and veiled heritance. Whatever you do with the other sets, you don't have to use Spriggans if you want to use a different one. You don't have to use Baylor if you want to use a different one. I feel like they work really well because the penetration really helps get the bashes through. I'm going to show you a couple clips now, just showcasing what you can do with this build, and yeah, just try them out and see what you can do. So this clip here is me basically running into a keep. The door opens, I'm running inside, and I'm starting to just bash people. So that's what we're seeing here. I ran inside. People are shooting me. I'm turning into the Goliath here. Like going into this back corner, starting to bash people. Like putting down the pressure. This is where I'm like, I'm recasting a couple things, and then I go back into the bashing. This guy's casting. I knock him down, start bashing, he's gone. So, and that's the fight already. Everybody's dead. We already killed everybody. They didn't see it coming. It was too much for them. They didn't expect that kind of damage. So, yeah. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. That's that. And then I have another fight. This is a solo fight at a resource. I'm sneaking up on them. I was kind of... the idea was I'll be sneaky. I'll get as close as possible. I've been popped out too soon, but it doesn't really matter. This is it's not a stealth build. So I go in here. I turn. I'm not starting to bash now. I'm just putting my my boneyard down. Try to like line them all up, and then I just go into the bash and just like really lay down the law. Took a lot of damage from that ultimate here. Go in, stun him, hit him with the thing. There's one guy. I'm already turning back into human form here. So now I have to fight as a human. This guy's AFK apparently. Lobby, whatever. We just kill him real quick. Boom, he's gone. And then the other guy attacks me. I peel back a little bit, and the guy eventually backs off of me after he took a little bit of damage from the guards. But yeah, there you can see how this goes. Let me just recap this real quick. So I go in here, I turn into the Goliath. I line them up a little bit. I put my boneyard down, and then when they're all running in front of me, I start just like bashing them as fast as I can. So there you see the kind of stuff that you could do on a build like that. Give it a try. It's fun to play. I would definitely recommend playing this in a group. It's going to be better. Maybe even get a couple friends together and everybody just plays that build. And honestly, 3 people is all you need, and you can literally kill an entire Zerg. If you can manage to like surprise a Zerg and they're all like clumped up, and you come in there with 3 Bashcros, it's gonna be over. No one survives that. No one fucking survives that. So, feel free to, if you want to get back to the Zergs here, if you want to show them what's what, put the Bashcro on. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's the build video for you. I hope you like. Give it a try, and I might be back with another build video soon. I don't know. ESO kind of shit these days. I gotta be honest. So we're just playing these trolley builds here. Anyway, guys, take it easy. See you next time.